Aaron Glenn is a dog, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like, that dude is not messing around. I knew that when I knew he was out of there when they named him to be the head coach. Aaron Glenn's the head coach to the Jets. I mean, Aaron Rodgers better get the packet. Ohio State's rule is you have to win the Heisman Trophy to get your jersey.
That's
retired.
their rule.
That's their rule.
Shit. Lakers, Timberwolves.
I like the Lakers. Imagine the Lakers when LeBron is the third best player.
All right, guys, welcome to Fully Loaded episode number 47. My man, Chris Carter. How you doing, brother?
Good, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing amazing, man. Good to see you.
Good. Good weekend. Yes. Beautiful here in Florida.
Not bad, dude. Not bad. I was watching these guys on the Intercoastal yesterday, right? I was thinking about you because this dude was driving his boat up and down. All he was doing was telling people to slow the fuck down. And no way, he's not a cop. He just was like, he decided that the wake's too much. Y'all
neighborhood watch area.
Neighborhood watch. So then everybody's going by him not paying attention. One dude's like, you know what, fuck it. He just pulls over. Like, what? Before you know, he brings his boat. They're right here. They're 10 feet from me. And he's like, why don't you get the fuck out of the way? And the guy just, neighborhood watch was over. He called him out, and they closed the neighborhood watch down at one time. So it's like, dude, it wasn't your business, bro. They were going 8 miles an hour over the speed limit on the water, and the wake was all going to be good. But I want everybody to be safe.
Intercoastal Boca Raton problems.
Yeah.
these problems don't exist in a lot of places.
That's a good point. I wish I had those problems when I was growing up. All right, so I want to start with Colorado. I want to start with Shedeur and Travis is getting their Travis Hunter getting their jerseys retired, which everywhere I went, I looked this week, it was on there. And you have people like former Hall of Fame linebacker Chad Brown, who's like, hey, man, if the players from the national championship team don't have such an honor by default, this action dismisses, diminishes, and for a new generation of CU fans erases the greatness. I would never minimize the impact of 2 or 12. They're amazing players, but timing's poor. Tyler Columbus, a few other people have talked about this. What are your thoughts on, and Coach Prime said, I don't know if you know it, but I think every jersey I darn near played in is retired. So I'm pretty familiar with this. It's never been sore. We're talking about Shedeur. We ain't talking about nobody else. If his last name wasn't Sanders, we wouldn't have this discussion. What do you think about that?
Well, Ohio State's rule is you have to win the Heisman Trophy to get your jersey retired.
Their rule?
That's their rule.
Shit. For real?
Yes.
The only people with jersey retired at Ohio State are Heisman Trophy winners?
Yes.
Wow.
So even the great offense and defensive linemen.
Never a shot.
Orlando Pace and them, no.
Wow.
No.
I didn't know that.
Marvin Harrison Jr., no. No, he was two-team. He was the first-time two-team, first-time
How can you be an
All-American.
NFL Hall of Famer and play at that level in college and not be a college?
Now, what they have is they have the Buckeyes Hall of Fame. Now, we're in that.
But you don't have your number retired.
No. No, Hopalong Cassidy, Archie Griffin, Troy Smith, those guys, only ones.
How do y'all feel about that?
I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
That's the only place that I played that my jersey's not retired.
Ohio State.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Are other universities does anybody have the similar rule that you're aware of?
I don't know that, but I think that standard is probably too high realistically.
Agreed.
And because you can have a significant impact on the program and not win the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
You can come in second in the Heisman Trophy, like you can win a national championship.
Right.
So I do think there should be some other measuring sticks. Multiple-time first-team All-American, when you hold all the records and everything. Like Peyton Manning didn't win the Heisman Trophy, but I think his number's retired at Tennessee.
I would guarantee it is. Yeah.
So those are the types of things that you always have to leave room for that one, that odd, that career that's like, this speaks for itself. I think collectively, Travis, it's a no-brainer.
But that early, you still think it's a no-brainer? How did college, Ohio State, there's no time frame because you win the Heisman, you're already in. But for most colleges, is there a expected time frame? We're going to wait till this many years?
I think that they want to wait to see what your pro career does.
Okay.
Because typically those Heisman trophies don't they don't guarantee you anything in the NFL. Mm-hmm. If it says anything, it says more than you're going to struggle. We've had more Heisman Trophy struggle than we've had dominate.
I don't believe in jinxes, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's just the caliber of football.
Yeah.
And you can still be the greatest player in the season in college football and still not be a good pro. That's been proven out over and over and over again. But I think the standard should always be high, because when you're talking about taking a number, out of circulation, to me, we've had so many famous number 2s. I wore number 2 at Ohio State. So many other great players wear number 2 at Ohio State. Caleb Downs wears number 2 for Ohio State now. Typically, you have one on offense and one on defense. So when you take that number out of circulation, I know in the NFL they have to have league office approval to be able to take that jersey out of circulation. I know the Vikings had to get approval to retire my jersey once I retired from the game. But I think the standard should be very high. In college, I think the Heisman Trophy is a little too high because it's rare. And it's rare for, like, certain institutions, they have no chance. I don't care how good the player is of winning the Heisman Trophy because of all the blue bloods. So I like the standard being high. Shedeur has made such an impact on the program that you have to consider special consideration for things like this. Where they are now, the number of wins, the recruiting, everything they've done with the city, the university. Travis is a no-brainer. Deion makes a good point. If this was just a successful quarterback who had been there 2 years, they wouldn't be complaining as much.
These former players aren't complaining about how quick it happened, like Chad Brown and them. They're just
I just think that they would never be comfortable with it. I think you're better off doing it and getting it out the way.
Got it.
Prime just signed a new 5-year contract.
For a lot of money.
So he's in a position to be able to do certain things like this. The thing I heard him say was, let's not forget, Shedeur was the first one to take a chance with Prime.
Correct.
And he stood on business.
Correct.
And he got that whole program turned around, because if you don't have a quarterback, you can't recruit the players. Travis doesn't develop if Shedeur is not a top-flight quarterback.
Correct.
So they don't have the sex appeal. If he's not there, all those big comebacks, all those hits he took from that bad offensive line, he truly is a landmark player. He helped change the trajectory of this program forever, and that should be recognized.
And nobody will ever take a university or a city. They'll never change the EBITDA or the income like Prime did with Colorado. Never. I don't think we'll ever be able to see that
in a 2-year span.
Correct.
The economics, what it did to the city, what it did to the image of the university, what it did to the demographics, how their enrollment changed, how they upped the prices.
Correct.
All these different mediums covering them, all the hits, all the things that he is doing there. And the litmus test is now both those players are gone, and their eyeballs are still on Colorado.
Correct.
So, this is something that Prime, that he can sustain.
Before Prime went there, before anybody thought Prime was going to go there, if I had said, hey, what do you think about Colorado football, what would you have said?
No, they can't win. There's no recruiting area.
Correct.
The Big 12 at the time, what's it going to end up being after the SEC raids, several teams from there? It's hard to recruit, man. It's hard to recruit in Colorado because when you get in your car, a lot of coaches say, okay, I get in my car, I drive north, south, east, and west, 3 hours, 3 to 6 hours. How many football players? Man, you're going over a lot of mountains, a lot of nothing.
I'm going to tell you what, dude, if you had asked me, I'd have said I like them a lot. I like betting against them. They made me a lot of money because they did not cover and they did not win. But now they're on the map.
Yes.
Like they weren't before.
No, they're back on the map.
They are back on the map. Because
yes.
They were back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
They've had all them guys. They had some teams.
Yeah, they had some teams. They had
long time ago.
They had an influx of Texas players and California players, a couple of JUCO transfers. They did things a little different way. I think that, if you go back and document it, I'm sure that the NIL program was started there before it was really supposed to be.
They were ahead of the game.
Yeah,
they was ahead of the game. Good for them. Well, that's a good segue because we can talk about NIL. So the Tennessee quarterback, Nico, he decided, well, it depends on whose story you believe, but he was getting like $2.5 million, said he wanted $4 million, and then which they say they denied that wasn't what they were looking for. Coach said, hey, we're moving on, dude. Nobody's bigger than the team. And he's been trying to find a place to play. It looks like he might end up in UCLA, but for less money. Do you think that this kid made a mistake? Do you think that was a bad, did he not know his leverage or his negotiating ability? What happened with that whole deal?
Well, see, the problem is that, for one, he forgot where he was. And he wasn't self-aware enough. And I think the number, because Carson Beck fetched that kind of number for Miami, so that's why he wanted more. But if you look at him and look at his performance, especially against the top teams in the SEC, I mean, he was not that good in the biggest games. So, you know, a lot of times, most players I know, they have an overinflated opinion of their ability. And he had the same opinion. But before he left, he should have had some more concrete. And I don't know if he knew the rules that you can't transfer to any SEC school.
Correct. So
there's a lot of money that he's walking away from, that if he was coming from the Big 10 or the Big 12 or something, like the SEC, they would gobble him up. You know, so now what's viable? And also, I believe there's a handful of teams, anytime you're doing something that's new, that, like, they're just going to be like, I'm not going to be involved in this. Like, I'm going to sit back and just wait on this. But to negotiate, you need two things. You need either two teams, or you need the thought that you might leave and the desire for the team you're with to keep you. And obviously that with Tennessee, it dissipated a little bit, you know, because the team would have paid him even higher amount of money. Yeah. Because now they're stuck. But what they're saying is, we're not going to get, you know, pimped.
Yeah, we ain't negotiating with terrorists, bro. Like, you didn't give us no option.
By this young kid and his family. But he really, and we have seen people in NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball overshoot their free agency and thinking, oh, this team offered me this, oh, no, I'm worth more. And then they hit free agency and they don't get it. This is the first time that we've seen it in college. But it's happening more than you realize. Because behind the scenes, like, these kids think they're, man, we had a kid at Florida Atlantic. He asked for $100,000. The receiver coach said, how many career receptions do you have? He's like, 9. He said, you want me to give you $10,000 per catch? Yeah.
That's pretty good negotiating on his part if he gets that.
Yeah,
$10,000 per catch.
You know, where'd you get that number? Well, you know, I was talking, you know, to my agent, and well, the agent's getting 20%. That's why they got to inflate those numbers. So, you know, a lot of these kids and a lot of these institutions are going to have to really make strong decisions, especially because NIL is going to change in the fall when they have revenue sharing and everything. You're still going to be paid for it, but it's going to really be about the big-time players. Correct. Because they really have a name, image, and likeness that they can market.
Yeah, because the rest of them are just getting paid. It's not their name.
They just happen to be born at the right time.
Correct.
The NIL and revenue sharing.
Nobody's paying them for their name, image, or likeness. They're just paying them to play football.
There's nothing special about them.
So it's funny you say that, because I remember when I was 19 years old and I was trying to borrow money to run this project. And the people in my family were like, you should ask for more. And I'm like, none of you have any money. Like, none of us have any money. Like, literally none of us have anything. So I'm good. I love y'all, but I need no advice from y'all because we don't have any money.
Oh, yeah. And people close to you, man, they can – because stuff we do, sometimes it looks easy.
Yeah.
Because I know my wife is involved in a lot of things that I do. And, you know, sometimes an independent contractor, like, she can hear me, like, negotiate. And then I'll hang up the phone. She'll be like, oh, you need to get more than that. Well, what you been doing?
Correct. It's always an easy commentary to have. And on top of it, your wife, which makes sense. She's your wife. She wants to get more. But I remember thinking my uncle, if I get more, you just want some. Like, I ain't dumb.
Yes,
like, I know what you're saying. That's a good amount for you for what you got.
Yes.
Shit, if you got another $50,000 more, you could hook me up and loan me the money. So at the end of the day, and it's funny you said about FAU, because you see people, they go on and they're like, I'm transferring any of these colleges. And I'm like, bro, nobody cares. Like, you went to the portal. I'm not mad at you. Nobody's there to receive you.
No.
You just made a post. Like, and because you're not understanding your market value. And I always thought agents, to me, before this NIL thing, I'm a baseball guy. So I'm like, okay, like, Boris, I'm thinking about agents, like guys that are real agents, guys, whether you need them or not, or you can negotiate your own contract. Dude, if you got a pair of shorts and a pair of sneakers and a fucking T-shirt, you're like, I'm an agent. I represent him right there. I went to high
Right.
school. I was the long snapper at my high school. It was pretty good.
Right.
And now I'm an agent because he's my friend.
Right, but you also have data. You have the last 30 years, modern baseball era, modern football, modern basketball. You have every contract.
Correct. You know what you're worth.
You can pick up the phone.
You know what you're worth.
Call somebody, plays your same position.
Correct.
Hey, somebody's negotiating behind the scenes. Somebody plays the same position as you.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you guys thinking about? What's it looking like?
Correct.
But now that part of pro sports is not in college. Only at the upper echelon.
Correct.
Like you see these companies that are representing these players, like
big time, yeah.
If you look at Archie, man, like he's represented. You look at JJ Smith there in Ohio State, like he's represented by a big firm. They making real money. You know, so these other people though, they got drug into this system. This a partial pro system with very, very amateurish rules.
Correct. Which you can take advantage of and maneuver around and beat
Yes.
down. But you have to have some business sense too. Know what the hell you're doing, especially when
No, you don't.
to get paid.
No, you don't.
To get paid right, you do.
Well, I think that this is going to be a huge learning curve.
But some guys are going to cost themselves a lot of fucking money.
No,
On both
absolutely,
sides.
but because it's experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've lost money in deals, and as the next deal, you get a lot smarter.
Yeah.
So in this, you know, kids are losing because they don't know the whole landscaping. Now, I would say 10% of them, the better players, because the offers are coming into them and they're setting the market, they're winning. But the 90% of them, it's just a cash grab, and it makes you not want to have grit, not have stay power. Like this dude yell at me one more time, man.
I'm out.
And I can do this twice a year. Man, can you imagine being married and twice a year you can, hey, you got 10 days to make up your mind, bro.
That won't work out very well,
You know,
bro.
10 days. No, I ain't in the portal, baby, but I'm thinking about it.
I'm not in yet. No,
I ain't in the portal. I'm just thinking
And
about
the
it.
10th day, I'm back.
But I called around to see what my net worth was on the streets.
But it's true.
Yes.
But it's true. It's like it, and you start looking at, you know, you look at this kid. This kid went. How about these schools? You tell me they think they got SEC money? He went top, went in the portal. These probably plenty of teams: USC, Notre Dame, Texas Tech, Tulane, North Carolina, all passed on him. UCLA can't give him Tennessee money, can they?
No,
Can
they don't have it.
They don't have it. That's my point.
Like, let's go back last year.
think about
Chip Kelly left UCLA
Yeah.
as the head coach to take $2.2 million to be the offensive coordinator for Ohio State. Because Ohio State had $20 million in NIL.
Correct.
I'll be the coordinator, which in turn
I'll win a championship.
He parlayed the championship into, now I'm an offensive coordinator for Pete Carroll. Guess what they getting ready to do with the Raiders? They getting ready to run the ball. That's his thing. So he got out of a bad situation with very, very limited NIL. Now he's in a situation where he don't even have to recruit anymore, draft them, free agents, but they're all coming to your building.
Correct.
Now, he used the system.
Yeah, good for him.
Yes.
That's worked out for some of the Ohio State former offensive coaches. It don't work out for everybody.
No,
It
no.
don't work out for everybody.
No.
But it's just it's interesting to watch the whole process, and you think about the whole name. Like for me, early on, I was thinking about that. I talked to a guy the other day, and he's like, "I like that player," and I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, I'm going to give this to the school to get him," and I'm like, "What do you mean?" You're like, "I just like the way he plays." And I'm like, "Well, how much?" He's like, "Whatever it takes. Like, I want him at this school." And you just feel how far it got away from, like, ain't got shit ass dude, name, image, and
Oh, no,
likeness.
no.
I want that dude on my team.
Nope.
Like I said, limited rules.
Yes.
I'll pay whatever.
Yes.
I know it, and now it's tax deductible.
Yes.
That's a different, now all of a sudden the money almost doubles. 'Cause
Well, you're also going to get a different type of money, you know.
yeah. With the rev shit, you mean with the,
I just believe that people will start looking at the investments long term.
yeah.
And, you know, I wouldn't even be surprised, you know, whatever type of money. But I believe institutional money, ultimately, if you buy a quarter of a team or something like that, like,
That could happen.
yes, I believe that people are talking about it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, very interesting. So, what a quarter interest of Ohio State go for? Good Lord, God bless America. Not like Tulane. All right. Luke, so I was listening to Luka talk the other day, and I was trying to figure out the Mavericks, Nico, him, his whole deal. And I realized, like, this dude legitimately was wrecked when he got traded. Like, I didn't really realize that he emotionally was really wrecked. Like I love this fucking place, and I thought I'd be here forever.
Right.
Okay. What do you think the odds are that he stays in L.A. because he could opt out at the end of the season?
It's not going to do him any good to opt out. And Luka is just like Kareem. Luka is just like Wilt Chamberlain. Luka is just like LeBron. Like, the Lakers go out and get the best players. Mm-hmm. I don't care where you get drafted at. The Lakers come and they get you. Mm-hmm. Kobe, drafted in Charlotte. Shaq, drafted in Orlando. Mm-hmm. They don't care. Like, there's very few of the stars, the big stars for them, the legendary players, were drafted by them. That's the way they play ball. That's the way they have for the last 50 years. That's the way they're going to go after championship. That's their business model. Mm-hmm. So, that's the deal. Now, Luka, you have to realize now, he was just a kid. He was a youth sensation, and he played on the international team, but he was already playing pro ball. Mm-hmm. So when he came and was drafted by Dallas, now Dallas notoriously has been one of the best teams behind the scenes as far as taking care of the players. Locker room conditions, how they travel. Like Mark Cuban, when he took over, and then now he's transitioned over to a different role. But they serve the visiting team the same meals that they serve the home team.
So you want to play there one day?
Well, he said, that's my first chance. It's my first impression.
I like it.
On the visiting team.
Yeah.
Give them good hot food. They got full-size locker rooms. It's not small. They got music. They got comfort. They got leather chairs. All those things. So he knew that approach would be different. And when you look at some of the players, especially Dirk Nowitzki, I think that Dirk was kind of going to be like his model for Luka. Eventually, when he got done, he was going to work for the organization. He's going to be Dallas for life. Mm-hmm. And when he didn't know how they felt about him behind. So they close the door, they say something different. In your face, they say something to you. Luka did not know.
He had no idea.
I'm not going to say he didn't have any idea, but he wasn't aware enough that they're not being pleased with his conditioning.
Now you're saying Nico, Jason Kidd, like all of them?
Yes, well, whoever you got to blame somebody.
Okay.
Because behind the scenes, for you to call these people, because they called several teams to trade.
Still fucking mind-boggling.
And Anthony Edwards, is he available? Like they were calling around. So to have that conversation, you'd have to do an evaluation, which in turn would say, we don't like his overall conditioning. We don't like his ability or lack of ability to play defense. Like, we don't like the team that he's got around him. Those are all the rumors, speculation of what they were saying. So they had to sit down and chronologize this because you can't trade one of the top 5 players without that.
Correct.
So he didn't know how they felt. So it became one of those situations that, yes, he was shocked because a lot of these players don't realize this is business no matter what, man. Mm-hmm. And you're no different than anybody else.
But it's hard for him not to realize he's not different than everybody else. Like you said, he's young. He's the organization. Probably thought he'd be there for life as well. The way Cuban treated him. I mean, he was, and then boom, he's out or steps aside.
He just took him to the finals.
Yeah.
Like,
do you think Nico? I'm just curious from a conditioning standpoint. Was he not playing good defense because he's out of shape, or is he not playing good defense because he doesn't want to or couldn't?
I don't think that even if they shot his body up with one of those adrenaline things, he still wouldn't be good on defense.
He's still Luka.
Yeah, his feet are slow. Like, he doesn't have the traits that it takes to play good defense. Yep. Like, he doesn't bend that well. Mm-hmm. And the number one thing is attitude. Mm-hmm. He don't want to play no defense. Like, if you look at all the guys in the league that play defense, I don't care what size, 7 foot, 3 foot, 6 foot, 5 foot, 6'6", man, all those dudes, they got a disposition about them. It's like a coach was teaching, and he was teaching the art of tackling. Mm-hmm. And he's like, forget the technique. You have to have the right mindset before you go in and tackle a human being.
Amen.
So with the right mindset, even with bad technique, you can get it done.
You can knock him down.
Yes. So, to me, it's about a mindset, no different than life, and that mindset is rare.
You think Nico going to survive this thing if it doesn't pan out next year? This year's a wrap. We get it. Kyrie got hurt. Anthony Davis still put up whatever he put up the other night. I mean, monster fucking points. They lost by a lot. Do you think he survives next year if this thing's a shit show and they can't make the playoffs? Or
I think they're good enough to make the playoffs, though.
Okay.
With AD and Kyrie and them, they still got some. They still got some players.
Okay.
Now the West, and they did improve drastically defensively with the trade.
AD, yeah.
But man, the West is stacked, man. I mean, if you're not first, you're last. So I think that they could add another piece to that, but I don't think that, not unless the Lakers win it this year or next year, do I think that they come down on him like that. Because he had to have some support to be able to trade a player like that.
What if the Lakers win it this year?
Oh, they're gonna walk him off the. They're gonna walk him out. Yeah, he's gonna have a long summer.
And he's still talking about. Why does he keep talking? He's talking about I'm not playing D. He's having closed door. Like, dude, move on.
Well, that right there lets you know that I'm a little young at this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to explain, and anything you try to explain, people are gonna pick you apart.
Correct. Leave it alone.
Like,
Don't say nothing.
This is what I decide. Bill Belichick, all the things he ever did, he never explained them.
No.
Never explained them. We tried to analyze them, everything, but he never explained them.
He let y'all analyze them. He didn't care.
Oh, absolutely.
He's not
didn't
saying a
care.
word.
This is my decision.
Live with it.
Yes.
Well, I still think the Lakers got a chance to win the championship this year, but we'll see. Aaron Rodgers, the weirdest player in all of pro sports. So he said about the new coach, Aaron Glenn, he said he flew all the way across the country. I'm in Malibu. By the way, when you start a sentence off with I'm in Malibu, ain't nobody got nobody's feeling bad for you. I'm in Malibu. I got a kind of quiet life, been an interesting break for me, yada, yada, yada. So he says he went out there, flew all the way out there in his private jet, met with them, and basically he said, listen, I don't want you to be a distraction of the team, don't know if you really want to play football anymore, and we're going to move in a different direction. He went on the McAfee show and talked about this and didn't know that he thought that was fair, and they should have told him over the phone instead of making him fly all the way across the country. What do you think about him talking about, just sharing about it? Should he be pissed that they made him fly across country for a 20-minute conversation?
That's exactly what he gets. Aaron Rodgers is never self-aware. So he never gave them enough of an indicator that, hey, man, yes, I'm ready to come back. I've been thinking about it. They asked him, are you still going to play? So a lot of these things should have been worked out over the phone before I got on a plane. But he's so unaware of what's going on around him that even when he got...
Is he unaware? He don't give a shit.
No, he has to be unaware.
Okay.
To get on there and start talking about, on my own dime.
Dude, come on.
Where else was you supposed to get there? Who flies you to cut you?
Look, you spend
Hey, no. Who flies you to cut you?
Nobody, bro. Nobody.
And listen, he don't have no good friends around to be able to talk about the situation, because anybody with any amount of sense is like, hey, bro, they getting ready to whack you, man, when you come there, man.
Yeah.
As soon as you come in the door. This is like a sting operation. They're going to say they had one face-to-face meeting with you, and I don't even think he met with the head coach, right?
No, he said he did, because I think the GM was there. He said something. He said the head coach walked in. Then walked in. It was just like, hey, man, I don't want to be doing a room meeting, have you in the back. He did the whole thing on McAfee. Well, he's assuming I'd be in the back. And motherfuckers, you always talking shit about everybody. And you're always undermined. According to everybody that you played with and the coaches, they're just asking, we don't want to deal with that shit here. And you don't say, you would never deal with that shit here. I would never do that. My bad. You do the whole, well, why would you think that about me? Motherfuckers, that's what you've done forever. That's why we would think that.
Because I've been in the league. I've been coaching in the league. And I did my research.
Correct.
And the research
and
came
he would
back.
Know. Glenn would know.
This is who you are.
Correct.
Like, this is who you are. Like, you have to have a different conversation with the guy that played in the league, a guy that has Aaron Glenn. He should have done some research on who Aaron Glenn is. Aaron Glenn is a dog, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like, that dude is not messing around. I knew that I knew he was out of there when they named him to be the head coach. Aaron Glenn's the head coach to the Jets. I mean, Aaron Rodgers better get the packing.
Now, why'd you know that right when you heard that?
Because I know he's no nonsense.
Okay.
And I know that his first time as a head coach, he don't want, and I do believe that coaching in Detroit, he has a disdain for Green Bay. And being in the division, you know more things about the players than a normal coach would know because you're in the division. Right. You're in the news flow. So, no, I think that's the best decision, especially for a young coach, is not be strapped to a guy that looked like he was 55 last year.
Yeah, at least.
I mean, he looked old, man.
And the whole concept of I'm trying to talk about being out of touch or not having awareness. When you as a fan, the last thing I want to hear, even as a business, when somebody's doing a lot better than most people in life financially, I don't want to hear you bitch about your money. I'm sorry, I don't. I don't want to because it's going to fall on deaf ears. And then he says, well, I got a lot of shit going on in my personal life. So, like, I'll get back to you. I want to figure it out. And it's like, imagine going to your job. Imagine Andrew's like, dude, I got a lot of shit going on in my personal life. Man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it today. And I go, like, what in your cut? What do you mean you can't? Well, I got a lot of stuff going on. You got to understand. Like, what? I can't handle this right now. He says, I'll play for $10 million. Don't worry about it. Bro, if you play the way you played last year, $10 million, they'd be overpaying you.
Yeah, Denny Green used to say, the day you take off is the day I lay off.
I like that. Well,
he said, I'll let you know. When, he said, I got an itinerary, got a syllabus. Like, listen, hey, now, we're going to have some days off. But guess what? We're going to take them all together. Everybody going to take a day off. Now, you get you a day, and then you get you a day. No. The day you call me and say, hey, coach, I no problem. I call you back and say, this is the day I lay you off.
I like that. That's a business principle right there. All right, this hard. I feel really, this is a messed up situation. I feel bad for everybody involved. So the former LSU receiver, Lacey, died this past week or so ago, committed suicide, what they say. And he had that automobile accident, 2024. Man died, 78-year-old man died. And I don't know if it's his family. I shouldn't say it's family. It looks like it's his agent. Said he had some discussion with the family, and he had an opinion about the NFL not allowing him to come to the combine, right? He was going to go in front of the grand jury, and he said to the NFL, shame on you for revoking, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Kyron's combine invitation without acknowledgement of consideration of the facts. Urge you to reevaluate your processes and provide athletes with the necessary due process before alienating them from their peers and dreams they've worked so hard for. Shame on the investigating agency for being more concerned about public perception and pressure to charge someone than actually investigating the facts. What do you think about that?
Well, first of all, someone died.
Somebody did die, 100%.
Okay.
It's awful.
And the case has not been adjudicated.
No, he's not been convicted.
But it's not like they're looking at several other suspects. All right? Number one, it's a privilege to be invited to the combine. Like, you only have so many invites.
How many get invited?
I think it's either 300 or 450.
Got it.
But it's really a privilege. And we have seen guys that when stuff came out at the combine, they were immediately snatched out of it. Davis, the defensive tackle from Georgia, he was in the car accident, speeding and everything, and something broke.
He was at the combine?
He was at the combine.
And they're like, hey, man.
And they snatched him out. And he was he's supposed to be a top 5 pick. He ended up sliding a little bit to Philadelphia, but as you can see, he's the best defensive tackle in the NFL. So I think that the league, and I've been a mentor at the combine for 15 years. So I'm typically, myself and another legend, 2 guys have 40 receivers because there's 40 receivers typically invited every year. And we go through some mentoring classes. We go through their interviews with them. We're there eating meals and stuff with them to try to indoctrinate the NFL way into them. So everyone doesn't deserve to go to the combine. Right. So when you are in the process of adjudicating vehicular homicide, I could see why the league would take you out of that, and allow another player to be able to do that. Now, you're also at LSU. You've also been in school a number of years. He's an older player. I think he was 24, 23, 24. Yeah. So he's had a chance to tape, build his resume and everything. It wasn't like the combine And it wasn't like the pro day at LSU isn't going to be all 32 teams there. So I know what they're trying to say, that a lot of these things snowballed, that he ended up spiraling out of control from a mental standpoint, ended up taking his life. But you are a collection of your decisions, all right, what you do. So you can't just expect, when you live in this sports world, to do anything and expect, I'm just going to be able to go about my life. I'm going to have all the privileges all the other players have. No, you shouldn't. And that's the way, life is not that way. So unless the case was adjudicated and he was pronounced innocent, no, I don't even know what their argument would be. Because this happens all the time at the combine. All the time at the combine.
Got it. Okay. Makes sense to me. All right. So Major League Jazz Chisholm Jr., who I love for the Yanks, I want you to hear these stats, and I want you to tell me what you think about this umpire. So he's been suspended because he decided to go on X and post, which doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, not even fucking close, about the call, the third strike call. Then he deleted the post right away. And then he wanted to say, I don't really, I shouldn't have done that. I'm definitely mad at myself for losing my cool. Bye. I get why they suspended me. The whole deal. This umpire, John Bacon, is okay. So check this out. All right. So this is just over like a span. He's throwing a bunch of dudes out, and they use ump strike zone, even though they don't like balls and strikes. But it's still whatever the ump's call is the ump's call. But they can tell you right away how many you got right or wrong. Okay. And dude, like, that's a big deal, balls and strikes. You alter your fucking game if you can't get it right. So they looked at the amount of calls just in that game, and they said in that game he missed 12 calls behind the plate. One game. I mean, that's quite
significant.
That's significant, dude. I mean, if each team gets
more than one inning.
Yeah, that's a lot,
For an expert.
Like he's the best of the best.
Now, he's the guy supposed to be an expert.
100%.
Okay.
This is the same ump that had an incredibly bad day in Baltimore just the other day, where he ran Hyde out for complaining, and he missed his umpire audit later that day. Had 17 missed calls in that game. Then another game right after that, 14 missed calls. So he can't ump, but he's still umping. What would happen in the NFL if you were a ref and you miss that? You ain't gonna. I guess there's a lot more pitches thrown than plays. Do you think the NFL would be more stringent, more restrictive if a guy was that bad at his job in the NFL?
No. I mean, there's an evaluation system, and only the best referees go on to the playoffs.
But do you think they would step in during the regular season and be like, Chris, you
need to do exactly.
You missed 5 calls.
No, they need to do what they would do is they would call him and say, hey, because I just did this yesterday. I went to LensCrafter, got my eyes checked. Right, go get your eyes checked, man. Like, there's a problem here. Either that or you got money on the game.
That's not good.
Okay, so now there's always one of these. One in the NBA, we haven't found anybody in the NFL, but because there's a group of them.
Always a guy taking money?
There's always a guy he's always wants to be the center of attention.
Yeah.
Like, his calling or announcing the game, refereeing the game, is always more of a story than the game. Like, they always inject their personality.
And he's throwing dudes out on top
throwing people out. Yep. I mean, the NBA, the guy in the playoffs, him and Chris Paul, I can't remember the ref's name right now, but he's got a big debate with a lot of key players. And they got the stats, how many times they win when this guy referees and everything. It's never good.
No.
It's never good, but I'm glad that now we have these systems that can evaluate these people and really be able to get them out of the game, because they don't need to be a part of the game, man. The more and more we play, the more and more gambling's involved, the more and more as fans we need to know what the rules are. And when we leave, we shouldn't be questioning, was that a good call? Was that a bad call? Because if you want to keep growing sports and you want people's money, you should be able to explain, like, I don't know how Major League Baseball explains this guy continuing to ref.
You can't. It's impossible with those numbers. And again, I ain't been a minute, but umping a baseball game behind the plate, with the way that I get, how do I throw the ball, how I move, but you're the best, the best, the best. This is all you ever do. And you get paid pretty well for doing it. So, like, you are a professional. So either you almost have to be doing something. You almost have to be passive aggressive. You almost have to be thinking, that's funny, bucket, I don't like, there's got to be something going on.
This is what I tell players all the time. Be careful what you say because that person is a human. And when you say something to and they lock eyes on you, do you think that they're going to be fair every time they see you? I don't think so.
Correct.
I go out of my way to try to be nice to the referees, the umpires, everybody. Even when I go to an NBA game, man, if I'm sitting courtside or something, man, I talk to the referees and everything, man. Man, you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Man, those pants are a little tight on you. Hey, bro, what are those? 36 snug? What you got on there? Your thighs? You been working out leg day? What
Bro,
you been
y'all
doing?
been working out. Yeah, they're serious.
I mean, they have a hard job. And and in between the plays, they like to laugh. They're human.
Correct.
Like, they are humans.
Because they're in this magnifying glass where everybody's coming down.
It just took me a little time to understand that. And when I was at Ohio State, we used to have a whole refereeing crew at practice. So it was like, man, I'm going to get to know these guys. And then I just took that over to the game, talking to the referees. And then when you get to the NFL, they have a scouting report on the whole crew.
Really?
Oh, man, she does this. Oh, he does this. Oh, he don't call nothing. Oh, man, he'll let you get pulled down from behind. Like, so you know all their names, you know where they're from, everything. So when you actually go out there, they have a slip inside your playbook and everything. So when you're studying your plays, oh, man, we got Jill. We got Steve. Oh, man. So when you go out there, you know, like you start.
What's up, Steve?
Yeah, what's up, bro?
Yeah.
How you feeling today? I'm getting ready to make it difficult for you today. Like, it's going to be a fun day. I'm feeling really good.
Yeah.
I tell him, hey, man, he said, oh, no, I'm not gonna be calling any holding. I said, no, don't call no holding. Don't call no pushing off. Let me and him settle this.
Yeah.
All right? Don't blow your whistle at all.
And you'll be right.
Yes.
You'll be okay.
I
Be
said,
consistent. All they do is say be consistent.
Yeah,
I love it. But it's
like
true. They're nothing like baseball umps are different, though. They're different.
Yes.
They're different. They're just different. Different in basketball and football officials. All right, so the NBA playoffs are underway. Do the Heat got any shot?
No.
You didn't even let me to win a game in the series. Still no? They got to get swept? They have any shot to win a game against Cavs? I don't think anybody thinks they have any shot to win. Wonder what the Heat,
they do have. Okay, since
what
you
are the odds
phrased
the
it
Heat
that
win the
way.
championship? What are the odds the Heat win the championship?
Stop, man.
No, I'm going to read it. Don't worry about
There's
it.
a better chance of me waking up tomorrow and being the Easter Bunny. Okay.
No, that would be some shit.
Okay.
Okay, they got a shot to win a game.
Game 3, they do have a shot. You know,
Okay.
the Heat, the way they run their organization,
Yeah.
man, they are buttoned up, but lack of talent, man.
I agree
And
with that.
Wiggins being their second, Tyler Hero and Wiggins being their second best player, man,
Dude, let me ask something because I just got to know this. 1,001.
There's a better chance of me working up with a purple suit on pooping eggs.
I'll tell you what, dude. The more I look at Tyler Hero, dude, somebody got to help me understand this. You got it, right? Like you got, what is this? What is this stuff he got right here? Tyler Hero. These 8 hairs on his chin. Like nobody says, you talk about Aaron, nobody's like, bro, just get it real quick.
I'm sure some people probably have said that.
And he just
But
keeps
now
it
he's
moving.
one of the older leaders and stuff.
Yeah, so he just keeps it
You
moving.
know, if you had Haslam around, if he was still around, you know, Haslam will say something to him. You know,
100% in a minute.
OG and everything.
In a minute.
But I saw him on TV commentating for the game. So when you start becoming the leader and everything, the style becomes what you got.
I hear that. Well, I think the more I watch their lack of talent, the more impressed I am with Spoelstra. Celtics, Magic. We know you love the Celtics. You give the Magic no shot to win that series.
No.
Okay.
And the Magic have come a long way. They got a good collection of talent. I believe they're well coached and everything. And now they're a big squad too. But no, the Celtics, man, their system defensively, definitely one of the best teams that they have. They match up because they can switch so much.
You think the Pistons got a shot to beat the Knicks?
Oh, yeah.
We talked about that recently. You think a legitimate shot to win that series?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The Pistons are knockdown dragon. They might be one of the best stories we've had in the NBA.
Yeah, I would
You're
agree
talking
with
about the turnaround of the last year and a half, what they're doing in Detroit. Bickerstaff Jr., the coach there, taking over a lot of good. Cunningham is a star, you know, for the Pistons. And, man, they rough it up, man.
Yeah.
They're not the bad boy Pistons, but they're rougher than most teams.
Hey, but in today's world, in today's
Yes.
NBA, they're the
they're
bad
rough.
boys.
Yeah,
They're the
yeah,
rough ones.
yes.
Yeah. They wouldn't be rough compared to the old
them
Pistons.
and Houston. Both of them play a very, very rugged style.
How about the Pacers and Bucks?
Damian Lillard, man, got the blood clot. Like, how many games is he going to miss? You know, those first couple games, man, you get behind in a series. And to me, Giannis is a superstar, but he's just not mean enough and selfish enough to be like, okay, Dame's not here, I'm going to go for 50. Like, I'm going to carry us.
You mean like he's not a dog?
Yeah, that's right there. That's
there he is. He's calling you.
Giannis. Take over the game, bro. All right, you got me, Greek freak.
Does he got in him?
I just don't see it consistent. He's a fabulous player. But
doubt.
when you have another marquee, whenever they have a marquee player out, it's been Chris Middleton or any of the other players, Milwaukee is very suspect on getting through. Now, we've seen other teams that have multiple stars. One star gets hurt, the other guy takes on a workload. We saw that with the Clippers. Kawhi out. Man, James Harden, unbelievable. And then now him and Kawhi are back together. So the Clippers are very, very dangerous. But Giannis, as good as he is, that's not a trait that you see with him often.
So you like the Pacers in that series?
Yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately. Right. They score a lot of points.
They do. All right. The West, Grizzlies, Thunder. You love the Thunder. Rockets, Warriors. Warriors got any chance to make that a series?
Yeah, it should be a good series.
Okay, but you still like the Rockets?
I like the Rockets.
Okay.
Yes,
right.
I like the youth. I like the way they play.
Yep.
Very, very physical team, well coached. Got a lot of respect for the coach, out there. He's got a good collection of talent. Rumor has it, because he was assistant coach when KD was in Brooklyn, that they might try to trade for KD this offseason.
Really?
Houston.
Okay.
Now, that would be a match. That would make the West even tougher. But Houston, I believe, is a better team.
Well, you got to get out of Phoenix.
Watch out for Golden State's experience. Because very young
series.
Team, we're going with the most seasoned group that we have in the playoff, like going against a very, very young team.
Lakers, Timberwolves.
I like the Lakers.
Okay. Nuggets.
Imagine the Lakers when LeBron is the third best player.
I know. You think LeBron the third best player on the team right now?
I mean, Austin Reeves, bro, when he gets in his bag, like,
I know.
I'm just saying when he's playing like that, I'm not saying LeBron is playing bad. No. But if LeBron is your third best player, like, you got a squad.
Dude, I think they win the championship. I think a legitimate chance. I don't care why. A legitimate chance come out of that. Play the Celtics.
Coach is spectacular.
No doubt. And Nuggets, Clippers. You like the Clippers?
I think that the Clippers are playing well. I think down the stretch they were like 18-2 or something. Mm-hmm. Kyler Murray, how healthy is he? I'm going to go with the Clippers in the upset.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Real quick before we wrap up. NFL mock draft. So Titans, who Titans taking first pick? Still Cam, nothing changed. All right.
Yes. Not unless he gets caught in a strip club or something with some.
That still might be
some very short people and everything. No.
He's not been caught anywhere.
No, he's good.
Pick 2, Cleveland Browns. You like Hunter?
I think that the way the general manager has talked about him as being a once-in-a-generational type of player, said even there's no comparison between him and Champ Bailey and him and Charles Woodson, because the amount of offensive snaps he played more than those guys. So I look for Cleveland. They need an offensive weapon. And I do believe that they try to address that by taking Travis and then addressing the quarterback later on.
How about the Giants at 3?
I think they're going to go with Abdul Carter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Patriots at 4.
The Patriots, I think they take the offensive lineman from LSU and try to beef up, protect that quarterback. But, not unless Travis Hunter's there. I don't see him being there. But, at number 2, if Cleveland takes Carter, then the Giants, who they going to take at 3, then it could leave Travis Hunter. But I don't think he'll be there, so I go with the offensive lineman from LSU.
What do you think the Jags do at 5?
Don't nobody care.
Nobody cares what Jacksonville does about the pick or the team?
It's time to go to the refrigerator.
It don't even matter.
It's time to hey, man, Drew, get us a drink, man. Jags are on the clock. Next 15 minutes, we can chill for a second, go outside, check out some real stuff.
You wouldn't be excited to go to the Jaguars if you were getting drafted?
No, I would be. That's totally different.
Okay.
Because I think I'm a top 5 pick. I'm changing the game.
Got it.
I'm changing the locker room
none of
when
us
I
should
come
care
to the play.
who the Jaguars are taking. It ain't going to make a bit of difference with them.
It's going to be one of those kind of, okay, they got so many holes.
Yeah.
So what do they take? Like, and they've been all across the board, too, as far as the players that they like. They got a new regime there. The coach is coming over from Tampa Bay. He resurrected Baker Mayfield's career there. So, man, you got to be able to score points in this league.
Correct.
You know, you got to be able to help out that quarterback. So
can they win with that kid at quarterback?
Yes, I do believe
Trevor
it.
Lawrence, you think
Yeah,
they
he'll
will?
get him back on track.
And when do you think Shedeur is going to get picked? Still going with Saints?
I think that someone that we don't know is going to trade up after he gets through 4 and try to get him definitely before the Raiders. But the Saints and the Raiders are very intriguing, and I wouldn't be surprised if they moved up to go get him because both of them like him.
Okay. All right. Before we get to comments, the NCAA approved rule changes. This one I want to – faking injuries. Do you see this? So now they said if you – under the new rule, if medical personnel enter the field to evaluate a player, an injured player after the ball is spotted by the officiating crew for the next play, the player's team will be charged a timeout. If the team doesn't have any timeouts remaining, a 5-yard delay game will be assessed. Proposal to adjust the injury timeout rule results from teams faking injuries to stop their opponent's momentum or avoid using an allotted timeout. And they talked to how many times they had to review it last year and how many times it tend to be. Do you think this is going to make it? I mean, is it going to make a difference? Because I know I don't like watching momentum stopped by a guy with a hamstring pull that isn't a hamstring pull.
No, it's going to affect the game. It's going to cost some people games, the coaches. It's going to cost them, and they're going to be criticized an awful lot because they can't control the end of the game. And some of the injuries are based on the no huddle and the hurry up because that's the only way that they can control the substitution. So people are trying to play specific situational football. I'm playing 3 defensive linemen. I'm playing 4 defensive linemen. I'm playing 6 defensive backs. I'm playing 8 defensive backs. But you can't do that unless you sub.
Correct.
And now the only way to be able to stop it is people falling down, falling out. So when you're trying to keep the game safe, like as a referee, when you see someone's in jeopardy, you're blowing it dead like, man, stop play, get him off the field, because it's not safe.
Correct.
So now you're into that sportsmanship type thing, and people are always going to try it. People are always going to push the rule. They're going to push it until someone gets called on it. Then they'll use that examples, but then they'll back off of it. But at the beginning of the season, they're going to be calling this stuff.
All the time.
By the time you get to the playoffs, you won't see that much of it.
But for the great offensive minds or aggressive or innovative offensive coordinators, it's going to be great because they're going to be able – it's going to be harder defensively to react when you can't just fake an injury and get your dudes
And people are going to be losing timeouts. The guys really got hurt.
Yeah. Correct. Legit.
Oh,
legit
absolutely.
Injury. Like you're going to lose timeout.
Because there are greater chances for injuries at the end of the game because you're fatigued and you don't have the mental. You might not be as locked in as you were 3.5 hours earlier.
Correct.
You know, so the chance of you getting hurt, the longer you play, they go up.
Correct. All right. Comments. Jeffrey Harden, WJ2FR. Ja should grow up, ? Cris, tell the world why you are not on First Thing First anymore. I don't even know what that means.
Because I didn't enjoy living in New York. I didn't enjoy getting up at 3:30 in the morning. I didn't enjoy seeing rats outside my $15,000 a month rent. Just a few action items.
Just a few things.
Just a few.
Just
I like South Florida.
Keithan Sanford 2074. Moss's ex-teammate calling Ja country. LOL. Moss's country.
Yeah, so what?
I know.
He leaned into that.
They both did, yeah.
I mean, we're all from somewhere. I'm from Ohio. I'm country too.
He said he leaned into it.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
He knew he was fine. He leaned into it.
That stuff was funny.
Giant.
He's from a small town in South Carolina. What do you think? That's the city?
John ain't leaned into it. Same guy. Hold on. This guy, he said, Cris is easy on the ears even after an hour. Oh, that's impressive.
Okay, appreciate it, man.
Yeah, he likes that. All right.
Yeah.
Silver_79. The NBA is just another bad parent. Threaten your child with punishment, then don't really punish them. I can't really fault Ja, really, because the NBA is basically condoning it by not stopping it. CC nailed it. Ashtray money. Come on, NBA. Either put a stop to it or shut up. That's well said.
The Ja thing, and I know other people in the NBA were doing it, but I didn't really correlate the guns and everything until I saw a highlight tape of the Lacey kid, the LSU.
Yeah.
Every time he did something, man, he was
know.
shooting people, man. I'm like, yo, man, where you get all that from? I mean, his whole highlights and everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, that ain't good.
Yeah.
Like, that's not good. But I thought Ja and them, you know, some of the stuff I seen in the NBA, some of the stuff I see him do, I seen other players do.
Right.
But this kid from LSU, what I saw him doing, I mean, he was jumping up in people's faces in the end zone after scoring touchdowns and everything. Like, ooh. Now, that's a little bit different.
He was going at it, bro. He was taking them out. He was serious. Owen Germ, 1048. The Bengals spent half of their cap on 3 offensive players and still have not touched the defense. The Bengals are overhyped garbage. What do you think about that?
Well, the Bengals, they don't have to address their defense because you're playing against the Bengals. I mean, you're playing against the Browns, the Steelers, and Baltimore. And especially with the quarterbacks you're going to face in that division, you're going to have to be able to stop someone. But to me, they're a lot like the teams we had in Minnesota. We only had a couple marquee guys on the defense, and we're getting marquee dollars. And we had all the money on the offense. And 1998, when we had the most spectacular season that didn't go to the Super Bowl, 15-1, there were 2 games that we didn't score 27 points. We lost both those games.
Wow. So you need to score a lot of motherfucking points to win a game. That's a tough task in the NFL.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good point.
Yes.
Louis Burt Caster hyphen, he's not messing around, JY9JR. Man, it ain't that serious to me. They're looking too hard into it. Them Boyles play a lot of video games. They watch a lot of gun things. He ain't carrying a real grenade. Well, I don't think I don't know. I've not seen him carry a real grenade in NBA.
No, the grenades are safe.
Like that,
We're cool with the grenades.
He ain't carrying a real grenade. The man's celebrating. He gonna grow out of it. So my man, I think, is saying, bro, relax, bro. Everybody's overreacting, dude. They play video games and he ain't carrying real grenades. I like this guy. He ain't a real grenade. I don't know what the problem is.
But this is the thing, though. When you're relying on the public to consume the product, like this is a public product. You are depending on people, consumers, so you have to guard the product because that's what's going to get you the money. And you have to be able to regulate it. It's like a neighborhood. You can't just have a pink house and a green house and a blue house. Like, you can't do that. You got to have some structure. You got to have some rules and everything. And that's why these leagues, the stricter the rules, the more consistent, the better the leagues are. The better their contracts are with the TV partners, the better their international deals are, the more memorabilia they sell, and the sports are still growing. Like, so if you want to keep those things going, these are the things that you have to do. And let's not forget, if I go to an NFL game, all right, I go as a fan, all right? If I'm a player, that's my workplace. So do you have people in your workplace, in your insurance company, everything, dropping grenades as they come down the cubicle? Hey, take this, boom.
Not in any
like,
not in any of my companies. No, not in any of my companies, no.
I mean, it's a workplace. That was the thing that people got so screwed up with the sexual harassment and stuff. Like, you're at work.
Yeah, it's work.
You're not at a bar.
Correct.
Like, people have to feel safe at work, regardless of how realistic it is. You go to work and say, hey, man, I'll kill you. When they call the supervisor in HR, like, you're going to have to account for that. That's a problem. Like, it's a problem.
That's a problem. That ain't going to work. All right, last one. Dios Robinson, 47-48. We ain't never criticizing the bow and arrow celebration, though. Now the band, the smoking revolver, getting holstered celebration as well. Yeah, I guess we
no
don't.
Guns, no knives, no slit in the throat. Remember we were slitting the throats years ago?
You didn't like that.
No,
but bow and arrow, you okay with? You okay with shooting a bow and arrow? You okay with blowing it? You put it in the holster?
I think this generation is too. I mean, man, they're semi-automatic. They unload.
They ain't bow and arrow.
No,
they ain't
bro.
taking nobody out with a bow and arrow.
357.
Like a dirty Harry. No, they ain't doing that.
No.
Those aren't the video games.
They unload the clip
no
on
bow
you,
and
dog.
arrow and no bow and arrow. On that note, I got nothing else to say. Cris Carter, Shawn, Meaike, thank you for jumping on Floyd Lloyd. Like, subscribe, share. We appreciate y'all. Talk to you next week.